Hey, Manny CA here, and got a request to go through and show some of the tools that we use when we're doing our guns and working on our guns and slicking up our guns. So I thought we'd go just do a quick video, a little overview. And these are basic tools, nothing too expensive. As in anything, you can get over the top, spend extra money, or you can get just what you need basic wise, and you'll do the job and have no problem. Again, you can get as expensive as you like. You've got some guys that they'll spend $100, $200 on screwdrivers. You can do that. They'll be a little bit better quality, but not by much. As anything, if you get the too cheapy kinds, you won't be having a good time trying to do your work. But if you stay in the mid-range, you'll be okay, and they'll do you justice. They'll serve you pretty well. We'll start with the screwdriver, because I think the screwdrivers are the most important parts of anything that you're going to get. Have an assortment of screwdrivers. That's what I've got. I got these Forester, and you can see I've always taught, everybody talks about using the bits that are ground down and they're flat. That way you don't bug up your screws. See that? I don't know if the camera's getting that. So you want those, have them in an assorted range, assorted sizes, general purpose. I really like the fixed ones. Are great when you're using big, kind of big honkish screws. Like this is, see that? This is number 5 they call it. Best thing about these is if you wear them out or chip them or something, just hit them on the old grinder, bench grinder, and you can regrind that profile back. Pretty simple. And then hit it up with a little bit of bluing. And that's the bluing solution we use here, is the 4040. Great stuff, easy to use. We got a video on it. I'll put a link to show you guys how to blue when we were doing the screws, fixing up screws. So you can do that. I also have a lot of fixed drive screwdrivers, which are really gradual sloping. So these are great to have when you got to work back and forth. They really don't mess the screws up all that much, and they're really good to have just to have them on the bench, because you never know. You're working on 2-3 things at a time, 2-3 different screws at a time on a gun. You want to be able to switch back and forth without having to always take your tip out. Another thing I always keep on the bench is, you get your driver here slotted with, again, more bits. Screwdriver bits are cheap. You can get them for a gun you're working on. All of these in here are for Ruger single actions. They've got all the specific bits that'll fit all the slides. You even got the torque head wrench here for the Bisley model. See that? All specific for the gun you're working on. And it's great because you can just sit here and, some of them are magnetized too, so it's even better. You can swap them out just like that. And I also keep one of these guys handy in case you need an extension. You never know. You're working on a stock. You got to get it in there. I know one of the shotgun videos we used one of these with like this extension. Was kind of like concocted. It was like that long just to get into the stock and loosen the buttstock screw. So you can never have enough screwdrivers or drive tips. And one thing is, I always use a little bit of Ballistol in here. This rag is impregnated with Ballistol and or CLP, because you don't want these things to rust on you, and they will rust. Especially where we are right now in California. It's pretty dry climate, but I know you get certain areas along the coast, certain areas back east, Midwest, high humidity, everything will start to rust. Just give it a shot in there of Ballistol or your favorite lube, and it'll keep everything nice and clean. Next thing you want to do is punches. I love punches. Get yourself a set of punches. You can never have too many punches. Well-worn set of punches. You could always reground down the tip if you need to. That's what the belt sander is for. That's another tool you really want to have on hand. Handy dandy belt sander. But punches, even the ones with the handles like these guys, these are from Brownells. You got your brass, and then you got your steel, and these, I think this one's for the AR. They specify for different types of guns. And they've got, 5 or 6 different sizes you can get, so when you just need to punch out a, pins or something like that, you don't have to use a hammer. I wouldn't use a hammer on these. These are pretty delicate. They'll chip off on you. These are just for hand punching. So you take it, you don't have to worry about bringing out the hammer. Next thing is a hammer. I like a nice brass-headed hammer like this. I got a ball peen somewhere around here I couldn't find for the video. You can get a, I think it's 4-ounce ball peen. Those work really nice too. They're invaluable. Non-marring works good. I like the rawhide hammer here. Rawhide's good. You can use these when you're casting bullets or, you know, whacking away on your favorite receiver trying to get the, the side plate open. So that's why I don't whack my receivers on my revolvers with these. Like the Smiths, I just use the old lever action. Stick the screwdriver underneath the plate, give it a little bit of leverage, and pop it. And you get a nice, clean break. You don't have to worry about anything marring or chipping or all that good stuff. Another thing I would look at are more punches, and these are center punches. These guys are great, and you can see the tips on these. Let me show you. These will help you drive out center punches, various sizes, see that? Without destroying the roll pins. So, these are great for roll pins. You don't have to worry about marring them up, destroying them, and you can reuse them over and over again. Needless to say, you buy American, they last longer. High quality tools last longer, of course, but you don't have to buy the high dollar amount. You can buy the mid-level amount. Next up is a good pair of pliers. I get these needle nose pliers. Great. These are Snap-on brand. Again, made in America. Really high quality. You can see the grooves in there for grabbing stuff. I've got another pair of these that I ground down the tips right in here. So it made a really like streamlined profile, but I don't know where they are. I think the dog ate them. But get 2 of these, keep one in your box and one in your shooting bag, because you can always use these guys. Next up, files. Very important. I love files. Again, these are cheapy files. You see that? Files are files, and they'll work. These Swiss files are cheapy Harbor Freight Swiss files. That's all we use. These are made in China, but these cost, you know, 10 bucks, 12 bucks for a cheapy set of files, but they do the job. You guys saw us using these guys. You can spend, you know, $80, $100 on a set that are from, you know, Europe, and they'll last you the rest of your life. If you really get into it, you can do that. I haven't really seen a difference in them. And I know Chinese steel is real inferior. If you saw one of our other videos we did on one of the HK guns, or sorry, HK knives, how the cheap steel just kind of gave way. But I figure we're not using a lot of pressure when you're filing with these. All you're doing is kind of just setting it on the metal and going back and forth, removing burrs and stuff like that. We're not sitting there and grabbing and prying and, you know, manipulating pretty strongly. All we're doing is removing little burrs here and there. These guys get the job done. Now for removing a little bit more metal, I've got this is a pillar file here, just a narrow pillar file. Again, this one, really nice, double cut. It'll cut on both strokes, back and forth, but the sides are no cut. See that? And you can get these, I mean, all the way down to the size of a screw slot. So you can fix your screws and, you know, clean them up just by using the files going back and forth. And they've got the cut on the narrow end instead of the sides, so you can use them to touch up and clean up any screws you have. This has chalk on it. I always chalk my files before and after I use them. Just a habit I've gotten into for a long time. This one is just a narrow pillar file. You know, this one says Swiss made. Pretty low key. These are not cheap, but I've had this one for, I don't know, 10 years maybe a little longer. They last forever. You get a good one. And this is probably the biggest file I've ever owned. It's high quality. So something to keep in mind. Next on our list are our stones. Now we've got 3 stones here. These 2 are just man-made India stones. And I've got the I think this one's called Fine right here. See? And you've got the Extra Fine, which I really use a lot of. Now you can get these in smaller diameters too. I think half the size you can get, and they're a little cheaper. I got the big one because I like to do big areas. I just like the flatness of them, and I like the way it's easy to control. Last up, stone-wise, are the Arkansas stone. These are the white stones. These are they cut, if I recall, right out of the mountainside. So these are great. They're really fine. I mean really, really fine. You can use these for touching up your triggers, or as you saw in some of the Smith & Wesson videos, you don't have to use the India Stone. I like the India Stone because when we're doing the flat sides on the triggers or the hammers, I like the big flat area. And then you can switch off to this one when you got to do the finer areas on the triggers, like the nose on a trigger and the hammer and the sears and all that good stuff. So this is probably the basic tool set that you're going to need if you're going to do any type of work like you saw us doing. It costs a little bit of money, but you know, it probably costs the same amount as bringing your gun in for the first time to get slicked up to your favorite gunsmith. And if you really want to be self-sufficient, this is what you would have to do. You know, invest a little bit of time and money in your tools, just like you guys that are car nuts. I know a lot of car nuts out there. They got a ton of tools. They can do everything themselves. It's the same concept, only this is for your gun. Tools are not that expensive, you know, compared to car when you talk about working on cars, but they do work. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or additions, or I think I forgot something, but I can't remember at the moment, I'll throw them into the comments in the bottom. Or else just leave us a message. Let us know what you guys use for your tools, if you guys know any bargains or shortcuts, because we're always looking for stuff like that here at the channel. So until next time.